Hi, it's Jason here from Wildlife Gadget Man, and in this how-to guide I'm going to show you how to make one of my Bug Ball Topiary trees. So the first thing you need to do is to grab all of the items that you need. You need a 2x2 inch post. I've already fitted one in here, and the length of the post depends how high you want your topiary tree to be. You need 2 hanging baskets. These are 14 inches wide. This one's a 12-inch wide one, so anything between 12 and 14 inches works really well. You then need a piece of hessian cut to a circle, and that circle needs to be big enough for that to fit inside one of the baskets and go up right to the top edge. You then need a plastic disc. This is cut out of an old compost bag, and that needs to be a slightly smaller diameter than the basket. You also need a piece of cardboard cut into a disc, get the same size or just smaller than the diameter of the basket, and again a piece of wood that's cut to the same diameter as the other 2 items. And then on this piece of wood you need to cut or drill a number of holes in the 12, 3, 6 and 9 o'clock positions, about 4 or 5 millimeters in diameter, about 10 meters from the edge of the circle. And you also need to drill 3 holes right in the center of that circle as well for one of the later stages. Now, the next thing you need to do is to grab your first basket, and this is going to be the bottom basket, and you need to make the openings, the gaps between the mesh here a little bit smaller. So I've weaved some of the garden wire through those holes to reduce the overall size of them. Once you've done that, you also need to cut the bottom wire to allow the post to fit through this basket on the center there, up through the center there. And once you get to that stage, you then pop that over the post, and then you grab your items that you're going to stuff it with. So I've got a selection here. I've got some bark, some pine cones, some old leaves, some bamboo stick canes, some moss and some old sticks. So the next step is to fill up the bottom basket. I like to start with a few pine cones, and you get it as neat as you can, but you could always tweak it once the basket is up into position. That's looking good there. Plenty of cones. And they're going to do a layer of bark, put them in there, let's have some old canes, put them in. Sticks in there as well. It's all about creating lots of surface area and cavities for bugs and other creepy crawlies to crawl into. Pop a little bit more in there. That's looking good. Great. Squeeze that all down. There we go. And then I like to pop a little bit of moss in the top there as well. That just helps to squeeze things down a little bit. go. So we've got that step there already. The next step is to fix this top disc of wood. So you need to find the center of the post, and once you've got that in position, you need to then make sure you screw it firmly into position. There we go, that looks good. The next step is to then carefully lift the bottom basket up to the disc, and then you want to pull it up around the edge, and then use some of the garden wire, place it through the hole that you drilled in the disc, and then use that to start securing that bottom basket in position by twisting it around. Now we can trim those bits off later, but it's important at this stage to try and get this up neatly around the wooden disc. And one more to do here. Nice and tight, that looks good. Excellent. Right, so that's the bottom half done. The next step is to fill the top half of the dome. We begin by creating a nice layer of moss to line the basket. I always try and get the greenest parts on the outside. Just takes a little bit of time to make a patchwork up. But again, if you spend a little time at this stage, it will pay dividends later on when you're finished, because it'll look a little bit neater. Almost there. A little bit more here. Fill in any gaps that you spot. A bit of a gap there. A bit of a gap around this side. Lovely. There we go. That looks good. The next step is to pop in your hessian. And then what we're going to do is fill that quite full with some compost. We want to fill it up fairly close to the top. Need a bit more in there. Keep it coming. Again there, a couple more I think. Compact it a little bit as well to make sure we've got plenty in there for when we start planting. How does that look? I think we could do a little bit more. good. So we'll give that a little bit of a pat down. And then the next step is to place a plastic disc on top. You can either trim the hessian off or just try and fold it under the plastic if you can. It's a little bit fiddly, but you should be able to do it. And then the next thing is to place the cardboard disc on top. And once we get to that stage, we're ready to place it on top of the other basket. So to place it on top of the other basket, you pop your hand over the piece of cardboard, put a bit of pressure on there, flip it over, and then lay it in position. You can twist it around a bit until you're happy with the position. We then need to take our remaining wires and then use them to tie the top basket to the bottom basket. And again, it's easy if you think about the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions. One there, one this side, and then final one on this side. There we go, that's great. We can then trim those bits of wire, rid of those. It's looking good. And we're almost there. There you go. Now if you notice any little gaps around the top here or underneath, you can then just grab some of your moss, stuff it in there so you can make it look as nice and neat tidy as you can. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. And there you go, another Bug Ball Topiary tree ready for planting. And I'll cover planting in another video.